This should not exist. Not because it is old. Not because it is mysterious. But because, according to history, there is no place where it belongs. No era. No culture. No explanation. And yet, it exists. Right now. History tells us a very specific story. A clean story. A comfortable one. It tells us that progress moves forward in a straight line. That knowledge appears once, grows steadily, and never truly disappears. We are taught that humanity began small, simple, and unaware. That we slowly learned to shape stone. To build shelters. To form settlements. And eventually, to create civilization. Everything fits neatly into this timeline. Everything depends on it. Because if the timeline breaks, the story breaks with it. The problem is not the age of this structure. The problem is its precision. The cuts are exact. The angles are deliberate. The scale is intentional. There are no mistakes. No rough attempts. No visible learning process. There is no evidence of trial and error. Only finished work. As if the builders already knew exactly what they were doing before the first stone was ever placed. That is where the discomfort begins. Because knowledge does not appear out of nothing. It is taught. It is refined. It is inherited. Which means it must have existed before we say it did. This is usually the moment when explanations appear. Convenient explanations. Natural erosion. Primitive tools used in extraordinary ways. Coincidence. Overestimation. Anything that allows the timeline to survive. Because the timeline is not just history. It is identity. We need the past to be simple. We need it to start small and end with us. Because if it does not, then we are not the peak. We are not the culmination. We are not the final chapter. We are just another layer. Stone, however, does not care about identity. It does not argue. It does not explain itself. It does not adjust to fit a narrative. It simply remains. Unchanged. Unimpressed. This is why stone is dangerous to history. If this were a single anomaly, it could be ignored. If it were small, it could be dismissed. But it is not. And it is not alone. Across different continents. Across different climates. Across cultures that supposedly never met. The same precision appears again and again. The same understanding of geometry. The same mastery of weight and balance. This is not coincidence. This is pattern. And patterns suggest intention. Someone understood stone. Someone understood structure. Someone understood forces that we still struggle to replicate efficiently today. Not with luck. Not with guesswork. But with knowledge. And knowledge can be lost. We often assume that progress is permanent. That once something is learned, it can never truly disappear. History suggests otherwise. Writing systems have vanished. Languages have vanished. Engineering techniques have vanished. Entire civilizations have collapsed so completely that only fragments of their existence remain. Not slowly. Not gradually. Abruptly. And when they vanished, they took their knowledge with them. What they left behind was stone. And silence. Stone does not tell stories. It does not record intentions. It does not preserve explanations. It only preserves results. This is why modern interpretations struggle. We are looking for instructions. But there are none. We are looking for blueprints. But there are none. Only outcomes. And outcomes imply capability. The uncomfortable possibility is not that ancient people were incapable. It is that they were capable, and then they were gone. Civilizations rise. Civilizations peak. Civilizations collapse. This is not a radical idea. What is radical is the suggestion that some of them may have risen higher than we are comfortable admitting. Because if that is true, then collapse is not hypothetical. It is precedent. Every civilization believes it is permanent. Every civilization believes it has solved the problems of the past. Until it has not. Stone structures like this do not challenge history by existing. They challenge it by enduring. They remain while stories change. They remain while interpretations shift. They remain while explanations are rewritten. They wait. And waiting is powerful. Because it means the burden of explanation is always on us. We are the ones who must reconcile the evidence. We are the ones who must make it fit. And when it does not fit, we call it an anomaly. Anomalies are useful. They allow the rule to survive. As long as exceptions remain isolated, the system remains stable. But these exceptions are not isolated. They are widespread. They are consistent. They follow the same logic. The same fingerprints appear in stone again and again. Precision. Scale. Intent. This suggests a level of organization. A level of planning. A level of knowledge transfer. None of which align comfortably with the accepted timeline. Which leads to a question that history does not like. Who came before? Not gods. Not aliens. Not myths. But humans. Humans with knowledge. Humans with experience. Humans with systems that worked. And humans who lost them. This idea is unsettling not because it is fantastical, but because it is familiar. We know what happens when systems collapse. We know what happens when knowledge is centralized. We know how quickly expertise can disappear. It has happened within recorded history. There is no reason to assume it could not have happened before records existed. Stone is not a mystery. It is a reminder. A reminder that progress is fragile. That complexity is vulnerable. That collapse does not erase achievement. It simply buries it. This structure does not ask to be admired. It does not demand explanation. It simply exists. And by existing, it forces a question. Not how it was built, but how much we are willing to ignore in order to keep the story comfortable. Because acknowledging this possibility changes things. It changes how we see the past. It changes how we see ourselves. And it changes how we understand the future. If advanced knowledge has existed before, then it can exist again. And it can be lost again. This is not about rewriting history. It is about admitting that history may be incomplete. Stone does not lie. But it does not explain itself either. It waits for us to be honest enough to listen. This should not exist. But it does. And the real question is not how it was built. The real question is why we are so determined to pretend that it does not matter.